We have several people who've asked to speak, and I'm going to give in the orders in which they've asked to speak. And we'll ask, as always, that they state their name and address, and we'll start with Rebecca Inglefield. Her topic is Hickory.
She asked me to speak first. I think next on the list, Mayor. I just wanted to say I'm disappointed that the opportunity for a citizen to approach council before a meeting to remove a consent agenda is not more democratic and not more open, as you promised on the radio the other morning. So I'm disappointed that that's the case. The other thing, it is really hard to hear you all up here. I'm not blind, but I have a hard time hearing. And so I would really ask if you would speak into the speakers so we can hear, because I didn't even hear half of what you said, Mr. Speaker. And I think it's important that we get to hear what you say. And it's really, I think that's part of what Mr. Pope is after, is we want to be able to hear what's going on. The other thing I was wondering about, since, like the mayor said the other morning, that we're in the 21st century now, and you all have iPads, I would assume that the budget is available should be available on the internet, the proposed budget for next year. I don't see any reason why that couldn't take place, so that we all can access it and print it off and look at it ourselves, rather than have to go to the library and make it more difficult for people to get there. So I would suggest that that would be an easy thing to do. I don't think that would cost anything or would be difficult at all. And I still haven't had an answer, I guess, from the last time we talked about, when can we have a dialogue? That's one thing that we'd really like to have. And I think the reason that people come before council in this scenario is because this is the only opportunity we have to speak publicly, and there's a record of it. And I think that's important. If I go to a council member, I had the opportunity to speak to Ms. Patton earlier, and we resolved an issue I had a question about. But I think that there's, obviously there's no record of that. If there was a conflict, or she disagreed with me and didn't care to bring that, or didn't care to remove that consent agenda. So I think that there are reasons why the citizens want that opportunity to come before you. And it is more democratic, it is more open if you provide that. And I think that there has been a precedent set with the fact that that has been on the cover sheet of the agenda for as long as I've been coming to these meetings. And I know that staff was unable to exactly find when that came about. But it is a disappointment that that's not available to the public at this time. And so I do think it's important that we try to be more open and more democratic, like you said. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. But for the opportunity that we do have to hear your plans, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to hear the radio program, and I thought it was very uplifting. I'm so grateful for the Hickory Hound. If you go to the Hickory Hound online, you can hear the radio program, you can hear what was said, and I think it's just great that our mayor says whatever change we make about the consent agenda, it will be clarified in the interest of greater transparency and greater citizen involvement, not less. But the way that this is now, we can ask a city council member to remove anything from the consent agenda, and as I understand it, it has to be a majority vote of the council members. Isn't that correct, to have something removed from the consent agenda? So there's no guarantee that citizen has any kind of direct impact as to what's going to be discussed or not on the consent agenda. But I know that's not what you had asked for, so I hope there might be a correction to that, a change in that. But I loved, part of that radio program is that you were talking about that you are in the sign business, and you know about the wind loads, and that you've got a computer program that can calculate the wind loads. And I think that's just great about the, any structural changes or cost overruns to the awning downtown. And then you said on the radio there is no effort to conceal the cost of the structure. And again, you all welcomed me last time to request anything of public record, and I'm just so grateful because the staff was very prompt in responding to my request. And I asked for an itemized, detailed item list of what has been paid for so far on the tent downtown. I'll just give y'all a copy because I'm very grateful. It's very prompt. But unfortunately, I can't understand what I received. And it appears that there's still, like only about $30,000 has been spent on the awning downtown. And so I wasn't sure why we asked for that additional amount of money. Like it says, current balance is $275,000. That's on page 5. So, you know, I wasn't clear about why there had to be an additional infusion of money to that project. So I don't know if anyone wants to address that or not, or should I put in another request, or is anyone going to respond or not? So I guess not. So, but I'm just grateful that the next project is going to be the enhancing spaces and inspiring spaces, and you're going to invite the public to be involved. And I'm looking forward to being involved with that. And so please let me know when those meetings are, what we can do. And the other thing is, I'll go ahead and just put in my request in writing again for the itemized expenditures and budget for the tent downtown, so I might be able to understand it next time, but also who is on the committee to choose the name. So I'll go ahead and put that in writing, and I thought I would just, okay. But okay, thank you so much.
Yielding time is not covered in our code.
So we don't get any yielding
time.
Okay. So when is the time to discuss things we want to discuss? When is the time? You know, Hal Rowe asked you that on the radio, and you asked to go ahead and go off the air and never answered it. So Hal Rowe wants to, he said we could discuss it on the radio. So let's just go off the air. So, but we just want to know when we can discuss. When is a good time on the record to discuss?
Are you doing it right now?
No, there's no discussion. There's no answer.
You've got my cell phone number. I told you
In public, with the whole council, with the public involved. When is the time to do that? The other thing I'm very grateful for in the Hickory Hounds, and you can listen to the meetings recorded, the December 20th meeting was fascinating. I'm sorry I missed that meeting of 2011. That actually, that's when it was publicly noted that we have plenty of money. You know, when we bulldozed those 2 swimming pools, we had plenty of money then to bring them up to code. We had plenty of money then. We had $1.8 million at that time on December 20th in the parking fund, and we had over $8 million in the capital reserve fund, another capital reserve fund. And as you very much clarified on the radio, there are no legal restrictions to the parking fund. So that could have been used to fix up those swimming pools, which would be a great thing.
Are you going to be able to wrap this up?
Well, let's see. We're looking forward to the swimming pool, the public pool, which you said is the very first matter on the agenda for the Park and Rec Commission. We're looking forward to that being part of the enhancing and inspiring spaces, the next plan for the city development. That's going to be beautiful to include the public swimming pool and also grocery store, since we know that Ridgeview is a food desert. And we know that being a food desert is part of the health downfall that we have in our community. So we're looking forward to that being addressed. We're looking forward to probably part of that is expanding Exodus homes to go ahead and fill up the 2 homes that they own, but they don't have the budget to fill. We need to fill up those places. We need to expand Exodus homes, not keep it smaller because of lack of funds. So we're looking forward to very real needs being addressed in the next enhancements. But we're just grateful that there is money available to go ahead and do that now. And you know, the city spent about $30,000 to have that survey by the Jackson Group to see, does the city want public pools? And actually every quadrant of this city said, yes, they want a public pool. And we are so grateful. You know, one of my friends, I know you all talk to your friends, one of my friends in church came up to me, and he's a conservative, and he has his own swimming pool. He said, Rebecca, I'm with you on this pool issue. You know, I have my swimming pool, but we need a public pool because, as you may have said, all of our children need to learn how to swim, especially since we live on the lake, especially with these health issues. And other people, sometimes other people cannot have only access to a swimming pool to get the exercise that they need. We know that it's a lifetime sport. So we're grateful to have that survey in place. We already know what the priority of the city is, what the priority that you have for every child to swim, and also the priority for the Park and Recreation Commission. Unfortunately, when I was reading through those minutes, they've changed that priority. They've taken it away from being number one to put in a public pool because they think that you don't want that, or they think that it's not possible for the city to have that, unless I've misinterpreted the minutes. But I'd like to, remind them to put that back at number one because we do have the money, and we do know from the survey that it is a priority. So we're just glad for the opportunity to talk, and we're glad for the opportunity to know that y'all care, and we know that when other people are considering moving to Hickory, they want to know, is there a vibrant discourse in our city about what we want for our town? So we're glad to know that if people look at the Hickory town, they can get a good recording of what was said and how people responded. So we're very grateful for that. And thank you.
Mr. Witherspoon?
Witherspoon, 198-70. I was going to yield, but he put me to the challenge. And I'm with her, basically, I'm still, you should know me by now, what I'm here for. It's your downtown structure, I guess I call it. That's the name, because once I call it one thing, it becomes something else. It keeps going away, so I said downtown structure. Okay. You found funds for that. And I said, and your Mr. Brett Lael stated in the paper the other day that it might have been a little hasty in his comment there. And I didn't agree. But I appreciate your speaking out on it. And I see 6 members there, 1 person stuck up. I like that. So much for that. And in closing, on this swimming pool item, I have here the Office of the City Manager, May 18th, 2010. And this was his presentation for the budget. And in that budget, the pools are, okay, here the Parks and Recreation budget has been reduced as the city no longer has to operate the Ridgeview and George Ivy swimming pools. Those pools are 50 years old, and the combination of new water circulation requirements and very old equipment makes it impractical to operate them. We will save $825,000 by not repairing, opening, and eliminating parts of the pool staff. Now, 2 years hence, we're talking plus $1 million over what? $1.5 million. And that's all I have to say. Where's that money? What you say?
Okay, that concludes our meeting. Motion to adjourn.
Mayor, let me say something. I'd like to, can I say something? Just, it'll be less than 3 minutes.
Okay, state your address, please.
James Davis, Hickory, North Carolina. Jimmy Davis.
What's your street address, Mr. Taylor?
In East Hickory.
Huh?
715 First Avenue Place, Southeast, Hickory, North Carolina.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. To the people of and the city of Hickory, in this year, there should be 2 important questions that we should all ask and have answers to. Who have our elected and appointed officials been helping? And number 2, why? There are 2 general ways of looking at our city government. A, how it is set up, its structure, and B, how it runs, its function. If you want to have a picture of A, read the city charter and its descriptions. This year it is most important that we ask questions about Part B, what our people have or have not done inside of those structures, both as individuals and as a group. We put you there to serve our interests and to take care of our business. For the people of Hickory, we gave you our vote and our trust in you. Therefore, we want to look closely at your official action on issues that are important to us. When you look at the city government function, there are 2 broad categories, fiscal and legislative. The first has to do with what happens to city money. who gets our tax money after the city collects it, and the second has to do with the laws and acts of the mayor and city council. Thank you for listening to these words.
I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion by Wright, second by